Hello, this is Courtney with C. Clark Creative. Thanks for joining me today. I have a simple hello card today with some products from the stamp market. First off, I'm showing you my letter library. This is the Skinny Upper Alpha dies that I've set, that I've die cut multiple times. You can see a lot there. And what I do is I have these sheet protectors made for card collectors, and then some book rings, and create a little packet where I can place all my letters in. So I have all the A's, all the B's together. I cut a whole bunch initially before I trim apart these die set and get my letter library started. This is what I'll do for fonts that I know I'm going to be using a lot. This font is great. They're all very similar sized, very contemporary classic letters. They're not too ornate, so I see a lot of use for these. So I've decided I'm going to do the letter library for them, and then as I get other letters that start running out, the vowels, I'll start trimming apart that big die cut and filling in as I need. So I'm going to start on my card panel. This is a slimline card, so I do 3.5 by 8.5 so that I can get 2 out of a normal sheet of cardstock. And I'm putting it on the Wendy Vecchi Stay-tion Make Art Station. I love this. You just put the card down, those strong magnets help hold everything in place. And I'm going to start ink blending using Sage Catherine Polar ink and just a little blending brush that I've had floating around. I just have one, so I have to color or wash it really good in between colors just to make sure I don't have bleed through. So right here I'm gonna stop and try not to go over that bottom row too much because I do have to replace this stencil, and stencils are rarely completely symmetrical. So I'm going to line that up the best I can and then continue that ink blending, being careful to not go too strongly at the top of those leaves just so you won't be able to see a difference there between the top and the bottom. And you'll see when we pull this off that it actually worked pretty well. Sometimes doesn't work as well. You need to try a second panel, but this time seemed to work pretty good. Love how that turned out. So what I'm doing is I'm using the Mama Elephant Slim Window Dressing dies, and I'm just using that scallop border, which fits perfectly the 3.5 by 8.5 slimline card size, and just trimming out that card panel. Now what I did there is I was looking at the back just to make sure my alignment was good, because that die cut and my card panel are pretty much the same size. Just want to make sure the alignment on the back side was good. So I had a good scalp on all sides, and we did good. It looks great. So I'm going to do is take the Sangria ink and take one of each of my letters for my sentiment and putting some ink down on it. I could use colored cardstock, or I could just take the white and ink blend it if I want to get real specific on my color here. Now I'm only doing, I always, with sentiments and letters and things like that, I almost always will stack 3 of them together just to get a little bit more dimension. I'm only going to color the top layer because I like that white look on the side of my letters when we're done. So you'll be able to see that on the finished card, but I'm just getting some color down on these top letters, and then I'll glue the white letters onto the back so that I still have 3 once the ink on this dries. It does take a little bit of time to dry because I am putting a fair amount of ink on there, but a few minutes, a little bit of time with a heat gun, and it's fine. So now we're gonna use the Gina Cake Knit glue to get these layers put together. What I do is I put 2 layers together for all the letters, and then I go back through and put that 3rd layer on. So here we go. Just about done now. Just putting that last little bit on. And then we'll start assembling the card. I find some letters, some sentiments are really hard to layer, these letters were very, very simple. I think just because they have so many straight lines, they go together very easily. It's not hard to get all those layers on. So I was playing around some different layouts. I really liked this angled hello at a diagonal, but I ended up going with just the horizontal across the card. I like that the best, just to help get it aligned. I pulled out my T-ruler. And what I'm going to do here is just to get good spacing so that, you know, that I can still do by eye, that I don't have to pull out a pencil and measure, is I'm going to start with the H and then get that place and then go over to the O and place that one. Then that middle letter, the first L, get that place. And then all I have to do at that point is just center in the E and that second L in between their respective letters, and that works very, very good for letters that have a similar size. All the letters in this set are just about the same width. They're all the same height because it is all capital letters. So this type of alignment for this type of font works really well. So here we go to the middle. I've got the two edges. Now I've got the center. And then we'll get that E and that second L place as well. There we go. I think the alignment ended up good. Visually, looks just fine. Now the card panel I'm putting down onto the card base. You could have done this before. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's just kind of like the flow I'm working at. Sometimes I get excited, want to get the sentiment put on the card panel, then remember my card panel is not on my card base yet, but this is a simple card, so it wasn't an issue. So there you can see the white, other layers shining through. Love how it looks. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon.